And we are jumping right back into the action at the top of Rixus, and things are going to go crazy, or as crazy as they could be. So we are exploring the space, and look over there. The person on the wall looks like Fina. Obviously, somebody from the Silver Civilization. Not quite the perfect representation of Fina, but that is probably Quieta. We who have come from the Temple of the Silver Moon. She can read it. We who have come from the Temple of the Silver Moon have sealed within the forest after the rains of destruction washed away from the land the unsleeping giant Grendel. It's going to be our next Gigas. The green crystal was kept here, but the green crystal seems to be nowhere in sight. So even the rains weren't able to stop Grendel entirely. Nice little Beowulf shout out too. The design of this monster is amazing. And so this is this very interesting thing where there's sometimes, like, this is also a game that comments on religion a little bit, where it's like, the religion of these people is based upon things that we know practically existed through, like, magic, right? So the Sylvites, the notion they have, the ixa'takans have of Quieta is based upon ancient histories, and, their knowledge of things that they consider gods are, just because they were able to seal away a Grendel. Nice railing slide there, too, by the way. Good job, Vise. Listening to the pounding tones of Drachma's theme. So this is the Ghost. High Priest of ixa'taka. So we have some stuff going on here that is not quite what it seems. So he's supposed to be guarding the moon crystal, but the moon crystal is not here. The king knew where the lost city was all the time. So I mean, these, like I said, these are characters with agency. So they're also characters that make mistakes, so they already have the moon crystal, and they're going to use it. And like every game, I commented before, I don't think the themes of power or irresponsible use of power are anything new, nor do I think the theme of, like, tech versus nature is anything new, but there are certain things that are explored in this game via religion and culture that they are done simplistically, or at least not with as much nuance as they could be. We do have characters with agency. We do have issues revolving around exploration and all sorts of other things. And I like that, and I like that that is something that's happening alongside of the question of, using magic or not, because magic, or the Gigas in our other, are basically our stand-in for weapons of mass destruction, right? Gigas are nukes, to some extent, uncontrollable things that should be contained and never used. So allegory and metaphor can be used in this game to pretty strong effect, partially because the game paints with such a broad brush that you can do a certain amount of meaning making in it, although the meaning that is generally delivered to the player by the game is the one that the player will tend to receive. This isn't a game necessarily that we pour as much into, I think, as much as we receive. Alfonso, once again, in the fray. And so they're like, hey, we're going to take the moon crystal. But remember, Alfonso and other characters definitely are characters that are in over their head. Alfonso being this if De Loco is the representation of science, sort of not understanding what's going on, you know, Alfonso is the pomposity and arrogance of the nobility. This is Grendel. This is one of the coolest designed monsters in any game ever. Grendel's so fucking cool. A massive giant, and it is just going to like punch and kick and fuck shit up. This is such an intimidating looking villain. And also his face kind of looks like the face of Grey Fox. Look, he just punches a ship. So freaking amazing. Just punches it like a boss. So like I said, shit's getting real. And he's just standing there in the flames. And you know he's really dangerous. A much more interesting design in my mind than what we had with Rakumen, the Red Gigas. The Red Gigas sort of being this walking sort of platform of weaponry. This is actually just like a created monster, a beast, right? That's why the name Grendel is so fitting. And just a massive, rampant creature. Just such a cool design too. That hollowed out space behind its head and everything, it's really interesting. So we need to stop it. And so this is where we get the movement to go back down quickly. And you know what? Our insurance... I don't like showing off the save system too much, but once again, let us save. Which isn't as interesting thing, you know, of a thing to show off. I like keeping that sort of behind the curtain, but screw that. We already had an edit with the Cham, so we need to head down. I'm surprised it doesn't just let us go down. But, you know, Skies is a bit inconsistent about how it handles some of those things. I mean, so we take the platform down, and it's not like we need to re-navigate all those platforms, but, you know, that time there just basically exists to give us a chance to save, but it's still, you know, not quite what it would seem. And this is a thing where, you know, every civilization still has its degree of hubris, right? So, the ixa'takans are still interesting people, but they are able to succumb to the same temptations that, you know, the king succumbed to the same temptation that Beleza did when it was time to command the Red Gigas. Power corrupts. Not the craziest thing, but it's like, whatever. Moonstone Cannon. Powerful weapon, a weapon I alluded to earlier. And so, with this act, I believe Grendel's going to go into a total rampage because he can't be commanded. The implication, of course, being that the person who has awakened the Gigas is the only one who can control it. And man, that design... I want to see the Gigas from this game and the weapons from Final Fantasy VII get into an all-out smackdown brawl. Interesting thing about this Gigas when we fight it, I talked about it before in another section, we can actually deplete its HP to defeat it. That's not what the game sort of wants us to do, but it is an option available to us that wasn't available to us when we were fighting Rakumen. And so we're going to have, I believe, 2 major ship battles. I think we need to fight the Chameleon again, which is ridiculous, but De Loco holds a grudge so much, and we have to also deal with the Gigas. So it's another thing where, you know, it's in reverse this time. We fought the Gigas first, and then we fought the Lynx. And in this case, I think we fight the Chameleon and then the Gigas. But De Loco now has the Moonstone Cannon, which is something we have to be fairly wary of. And we get the amazing music, which I'll pump up for a second here. So wonderful. The music in this game is just so great. Okay, so we have some opportunities here. We don't have a lot to work with necessarily. Oh no, the torpedo can only move... No, it should be able to move further. So 2 spaces from the turn it's used. Okay, and then we can use our heavy cannon on the opportunity side of things. Focus... and then guard. I feel like the ship battles are a little bit more tactical from moment to moment because there's some more moving parts to consider. That's not to say that normal combat doesn't have a lot of things for us to consider, but there's still enough that, you know, ship battles have a little bit more components to them. We have to keep track of torpedoes and sub-cannons and our health count and magic cannons and all sorts of things, which is compelling. I enjoy it. And so this is going to be a hell of a gauntlet. Ship battles taking a little bit more time than traditional battles. I wish we had some better defense, but we should be able to attack decently. Of course, the perennial favorite here is still going to be the harpoon cannon. We just can't deny the sheer power and efficiency of that weapon. So the enemy vessel has stopped. So this is our opportunity round. So we are going to take a chance and open fire, which could be a terrible mistake. So what we want to do is use a deluxe kit. We want to use sub-cannon going into a heavy cannon. Although actually, you know what we can do? I'm worried that the Moonstone Cannon will like just straight up fuck us up, but we can time our attack to be super effective. Sub cannon, torpedo, heavy cannon, and then I guess we guard and we hope for the best. We want to knock him off balance. Although really, if I fuck this up, this could be as Adele says in Skyfall, "This is the end." That's my poor Adele impression. But we are definitely dealing with a dangerous situation, and one that could prove fatal for us. So these battles are a lot about risk-reward, and so we need to hope that our focused fire here does enough damage for it to matter, and I think that was a fairly decent amount of damage, so we'll be okay. It's difficult to say. If we sort of staggered him, right, and we're doing evasive action, we'll take damage, certainly, but we won't... Hopefully we won't die. That would be so unfortunate. Although I think we might... Nope. Okay, cool. We might have wasted an opportunity to get in a harpoon cannon attack, though. But they used up a lot of... See, I can't use the harpoon cannon, so... Really, what I want to do is just sort of build up focus, guard, and like build up focus, which seems silly, but it's like it's what I have to do. Harpoon cannon is such a valuable asset, and in one of the next rounds we'll probably just use Increm and just set ourselves up for the big hit. Although you saw, in theory, I don't need to use the harpoon cannon. I can just sort of use the sum total of, you know, my sub cannons, my torpedoes, my main cannon, but I am not entirely under-equipped for this battle. But there's the black market weapons salesman was selling something called I think a G-type cannon, which would have been useful in this battle. But basically, this is another thing where it's like we want to survive. That will definitely be the case with Grendel, but Grendel has a definite way of defeating it. The only thing that I don't like about the abstracted space that we're fighting is that fighting in is that we don't quite get to see Grendel in the background, which I think would be really cool. We'll just try a heavy cannon shot there. Yes, because we'll have enough for the Moonstone cannon in the next round. We'll just guard on the proper attacks and move on from there. And hopefully we can... I keep on saying Moonstone cannon because he has the fucking Moonstone cannon. Harpoon cannon. So the rhythm of these battles you've seen in the early game is sort of established. It will stay this way even into the late game, where you want to set up and use like your big super move, but you'll have a lot more options with the weaponry you have, and your ship will be far more robust and powerful than the Little Jack. We don't stay with the Little Jack always. And so next round I think we're going to want to heal. Those torpedoes hit for a surprisingly high amount of damage, which I do not care for. I'm decidedly against it. Although it's strange. In combination with other things, doesn't matter. So they need to recharge the cannon. So is this our chance? I need to use the fucking goddamn Moonstone cannon at some point. The harpoon cannon. Okay, so light torpedo. How many rounds can it go? Yeah, so let's go to town. We'll heal and we'll just shoot. Because we can't sort of hang out and just hope for a chance to fire the harpoon cannon. We just need to take the fight to them. And then we'll have a fight after this, and this will be a long segment, which will be a pain in the butt to encode. Let me tell you, getting stuff on YouTube that is long, as opposed to like 30-minute chunks or whatever, sort of a pain. It's an overnight process. Holy shit. That hit hard. Wow, that hit much harder than I thought. That's unfortunate. It would suck to go through this battle and then die to some sort of fluke. Okay, so we can't fire here, but it will continue to fire in the next turn on the opportunity turn. So here's a nice attack that we're going to put out. So they're about halfway, which is good, but we're going to need to heal next round pretty much immediately. And we'll sort of hope for the best. So yeah, lots of opportunities here. So deluxe kit. And we'll do cannons and then defend, and we'll have enough for the harpoon cannon. So if we survive this round, in theory, the battle is won. And we're only about 20 minutes in, which is great, because the Grendel fight will take maybe another 20 or 30, and that will get us towards our quota. I like to try and hit under an hour. I know some of them I've hit a little higher. People like watching small chunks of things. This series, I mean, keeping in mind what little exposure I have, definitely not as watched as Shadow of the Colossus, just because I can distill fights with colossi into very small but digestible, like 10-minute fights. Fighting a colossi in Shadow of the Colossus, or excuse me, a colossus, isn't a big issue. And here, ship battles take a while, and hopefully we did not get wrecked. I'd be so mad. Okay, we're good. That was weaker than it should have been, so maybe we did a decent amount of damage to sort of defer some of that, our evasive action taking place after the disastrous combat attempt. So this should do it, but let's follow it up with a heavy attack. Heal on that round, and then another cannon attack just in case, but really, harpoon cannon, we've seen the effectiveness of this. This is, this should be checkmate. Which I love. I love getting your enemy in a position where you know that you've got them. I really do enjoy it. Oh, wow, look at that. Man, we should have been buffed with Increm, eh? Maybe we still were. Oh, a miss from the heavy cannon. But if we focus and do another round of torpedoes and subcannons and everything, we should be okay. And we should heal before these torpedoes hit. So I'm feeling okay. Deluxe kits are the best. Items in ship battles are great because you don't need to worry about wasting spirit points. Handgun. And then he'll probably do handgun plus torpedo. Or maybe subcannon plus torpedo, it's hard to tell. So, another heavy cannon hit, we should be okay, but I think it's going to be handgun plus torpedo. Awaiting orders plus torpedo, very strange. Sometimes I don't understand the decisions that are being made, so... light torpedo, heavy cannon, heal if we need to... But I think this should be checkmate. I like the concept of torpedoes in this game, sort of firing a mortar volley up in the air and having it fall back down. Very interesting for a sort of ship-to-ship combat idea. This is it, right? Yeah, that looks like it. Fantastic. So we'll head into our next battle, and we'll sort of come to the, not quite the end of our time in Ixa'taka, but we should be okay. I'd love to be able to stop, because I think this gives us a captain's stripe? No, it gives us a nice torpedo, but I don't think we get a chance to re-equip before we go into the Grendel fight, which is a tough fight. Some of those smoke particles a little messy, but I like that so far our ways of defeating Gigas are not really conventional. So in this case we want to make it fall into the canyon and have it knocked down. We wait for it to pass in front of the canyon, and we knock its ass down into the canyon, whereas with Rekumun, we attack the person who was controlling it. So, given our damage, we're going to need to heal. Look at this thing every time I see it. And look at the scale of what's going on. You know, we need to be careful. Deluxe kit. Blaster. Cannon. Guard. And I think this is another one where, depending on how much damage we do, it will alter the course of the next round. It's really hard to tell. If we get in close, I think he'll just punch us in the face. And again, this is abstraction, right? So obviously, if he was really punching us, we just totally would be fucked. And like I said, you can reduce its HP to 0, but that's not sort of the realm that we're aiming for, just because it's such a long and arduous process. It's going to attack first. Fist of Grendel. Bam! Right? It just sort of tries to swat us out of the sky like a fly. Very interesting sort of combat. And our heavy cannon missed. That's a fucking shame. I also like that it sort of has two heads. The main head and then the other one. Boulder throw. Ugh. Did not really do enough damage. The animations are amazing. And granted, I mean, like I said, abstraction, so we're surviving these attacks. This is just an abstraction of the struggle that we are facing, or participating in. It's too big. Where do you think we should try attacking? Boy. Attacking the head's gonna be crazy. Legs might be safer to give us preparation. Yeah, so that's safer. And then in the next round we can build up to the harpoon cannon, so it's just like deluxe kit, focus, increm, and then focus again. That's a tricky turn. I want to harpoon cannon it in the face so much and just knock it towards the gorge. And I don't think this is a battle where it's over when you get in your first harpoon cannon, but after you do a certain amount of base damage, you can get it close to the spot that you need it to be in, and then you can knock it down. I do love that our crazy WMD analogs are magical beasts. Seems so simple. And look at this attack, right? It just stomps on the ship. We'd be dead. But that's what abstraction is for. But look at the damage. Which we want to avoid. And all we need is 10 SP going into the next round, which would be fantastic. Now it's going to backhand us, probably. I hope I have not miscalculated and made a foolish mistake. A mistake that Francesca von Karma would call a foolishly foolish mistake that is only made by the most foolish of fools. I want no part of it. Let's hope we're okay. Yes, cool. So, another case where we heal. We harpoon cannon. Shit, huh? And then maybe we heavy cannon. It's tricky to judge. It is in a fight like this in particular, it's very tricky to judge what may or may not be the correct move. From now on, I'm going to need to use Sacrays to heal. I wish I had more deluxe kits. I probably should have bought more, but it is what it is. Hopefully the harpoon cannon can knock it off balance so it doesn't like punch us in the face, but I don't know if that happens or not. This could potentially just knock it into the gorge. But I don't know if it will. I think it's after a certain threshold of damage. So it's like 1 or 2 attacks of it. That's a nice evasive action, and I think using the harpoon cannon actually canceled some of its attacks. Is it going to stomp again? Now, Fistagrendel, which is okay, we can survive that a little bit more. Stomp is the one that hits really hard. This will hit for like 1,000. Yeah. That is, that's okay, I can live with that. And we can Heavy Cannon, which is 3,000, which is okay. But it's still going to hit us. And we want to build up to a Harpoon Cannon in the next round, which is tricky. It's very tricky. I'm going to risk focusing a little bit. No, so we need to do it in this order. That won't be enough focus. Or maybe it will. I don't know. We're going to find out. And like I said, this could be complete folly. But we're at the 30-minute mark, so we're making good progress. Spirit management in this game is such an important thing. You know. And the next round, we're going to need to heal no matter what. Getting hit pretty hard here. Health, not in the worst spot, but still, you know. I wish we had stronger sub-cannons too, but this next round should be okay, and we have 10. And then we'll focus, which should give us enough for our favorite Harpoon Cannon. But then again, like I said, this is one where it's definitely dependent upon the damages that you are doing in your rounds beforehand. So let us hope that the combination of damage that we've done is sufficient. And we focus at the end of the turn, I believe. So we should be in good shape. I think at the start of each turn we're getting around 10 or 11 SP. Which is nice. Okay, boy, you can continue attacking if you want. Now we're going to keep attacking. Oof. Okay. How much is... So Sakura is 2. How much is Sakura's? Because we can Harpoon Cannon. Sakura's is 4. And just defend. We want to put as much pressure on this thing as possible. And so we'll heal up to full because of Sakura's. And then Moonstone Cannon firing should be great. Moonstone Cannon. I keep on saying it because of De Loco having the super cool Moonstone Cannon that I want. I want it. Harpoon Cannon.
Harpoon Cannon, fire!
Will it be enough? Nope, but we are getting there. So that's good. And we'll survive this round. I'm not worried about survival. I'm worried about how much having to heal using magic now will affect our gains in SP. We're going to have to focus a little bit more, which means leaving us open to some enemy attacks. Which is a bummer. It's a total bummer. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not even a big green Grendel butt. And the way our evasive actions are being timed is curious to me, and I wish I understood sort of what was going on there a little better. But I'm willing to sort of deal with what's going on here right now. So it's a little strange. So, man alive. We're not in a position to use the Harpoon Cannon, but we need to get into the proper position to use a Harpoon Cannon, which I believe means using up some of our weapons again. Light torpedo. Actually, so what is the thing that triggers us using the Harpoon Cannon? Let's buff and use Increm. Let's attack with the Oh, so we can do this. I can attack into the next turn. Oh man, I should have been doing that all along. That would have been really useful. And every now and then, the mechanics of the game surprise you. So torpedo as we focus. And hopefully it's a dialogue decision that lets us choose what we need to do here. So yeah, I want that harpoon cannon. I want to hit him now, and just really just go to town. I do like the Gigas fights because they do convey a sense that you are fighting just a rampaging creature. And oh boy, is it hitting hard. If it uses Stomp, we're dead. Which would suck. I'd be very disappointed. But we can do a little bit of light damage with the torpedo. And then focus, and we should be decent. And as long as it's a choice between like, hey, let's press the attack, or like, let's wait, and not one that's predicated upon how much I have hit it here, I will feel a little confident. Boulder throw, we should survive. I say should. It's going to be close. We're going to be like at, yeah, whew, boy. That is something else. This next turn sort of ends up being do or die time a little bit. Although the torpedo hit for a surprisingly decent amount of damage. Okay, harpoon cannon's in place. So we do that. Sacris. And even Sacri to make sure that we are absolutely in a good place. And just because we can, even though I don't think it will matter, torpedo on the same turn as harpoon cannon. But I want us as a high enough health as possible, and this will bring sort of, this is the big climax of our time in ixa'taka. So, let's fight the monster. Let's do what we can. Let's be heroic. Right? That's part of what this game is about, and not necessarily in a power fantasy type way, which is why I find it so compelling. So that should be our torpedo shot. Will we get an evasive action in before the attack? I don't think we will. I like how it's just, like, I said it before, but just, like, backhands us. Like, that's how powerful the thing is. It can afford to just, like, hit us or like punch a ship and then it's done. In the abstracted space of combat, the thing that's going on here is the numbers representing sort of the situation at hand. But harpoon cannon, light torpedo. I feel good about this round. Yup. That is good. And that's sort of what we're expected to do. Although, like I said, you can do the thing where you reduce its HP to 0. So we need to just get the moon crystal while it's not in the right space. Did okay there. Someone's going to level up, I think, eh? There we go, Ica, very nice. Grendel's Wing, a weapon. Captain Stripe, complete kit. We're getting some good stuff. I want one last moonberry for Vise. I'm obsessed with them. And it's just such a nice little line. Great power you need, great responsibility. Thank you, Spider-Man. And so we get the greenstone, which is a diamond shape, although you can't really tell, which is really great. Value is falling back, and everything's good. Alright, so here we go. We'll be able to head North Ocean, head back to Valua, get the yellow moon crystal. Everything will be good. Although it won't be easy. Ixa'taka still being sort of lecherous. You know. But we all sort of laugh at the end of our trials and tribulations, and we get the green moon crystal. And so that is the end of our time in ixa'taka. We will make our way back towards Valua in the next section of Skies of Arcadia. Thank you very much for watching. I love you all. Bye.